Hey, what's up? We're here with Captain Matt Kirchner of the Pittsfield Police Department, and the police station has been in much need of renovation, and if not a new one. So Captain Kirchner is nice enough to give us a walkthrough.
Hey Brian, thanks for coming by today. We'd love to show you the place.
All right, let's go.
So the building was built in 1939, and it's had several changes since its inception. But hello. Yeah, so this is the desk. This is the main area of the station. The desk sergeant, the desk officer working, and anybody who comes to the front lobby window, this is who you'd interact with. This is who you're going to see first. We'll take you right in. We can show you our dispatch center. I'm back. So right here's your dispatch center, and essentially 3 dispatchers working, 2 working on the police consoles and 1 working on the fire side. Days and evening shifts run that way. On the overnight shift, you have 1 police dispatcher and 1 fire dispatcher. So anybody who calls 911 in the city, this is essentially where your call is going to get routed to.
And these guys pick up the phone and they sort of talk to the officers on the street and.
Yep. The guys and gals in the dispatch center do a great job. They're essentially the front line of the PD. They're who's going to be your first interaction, and then they relay that information to the officers on the street.
All right, awesome. What's up, Pete?
How are you?
I don't know anybody else in there. So this is the booking room.
So this is the booking room in the cell block area for the men's cell block. Anybody who is arrested or taken into custody by an officer in Pittsfield is going to be brought in here. When they get brought in, they'll get sat down on the bench, their belongings get cataloged. We will then, go through the booking process, read them their rights, fingerprints, photographs, and document the arrest. If they're eligible to be bailed out, it's great. We'll get them out of here quick. If not, we've got 8 male cells. We've got 2 female cells here in the building, and then we've got 1 cell, 1 holding area for a juvenile. We don't keep juveniles long-term here. If they're not going to get released to their parents or a custodian, they'll go to a juvenile facility. So unfortunately, I can't show you cell number 1 because it's damaged beyond repair due to its age. It's got a lot of, at the bottom of it, it's the original to the building, so there's a lot of rust damage, and it's just not safe to put somebody in, so we can't use cell 1. But this is primarily where you'll stay. If you come in for a weekend, you'll get a blanket, a roll of toilet paper, and you'll get 3 meals a day here.
So you'll stay in this room until bail is made, or someone bails you out, or you get to go to court, or what's the deal there?
Yeah, so you'll stay here either until you make bail, or you're released by a clerk from the court, or you get transported to court. Unfortunately, some folks have come in here under arrest on like a Friday, on a long weekend, and Monday's a holiday, so they may stay until Tuesday. It's not ideal. It's a horrible condition. So our hope is that everyone can get bailed, get released, or just do the right thing and not get themselves arrested. So everything here is monitored. There's 4 identical cells on the other side of the cell block. We can show you those.
What is this chair over here?
So this is a restraint chair. Anyone who comes in that's combative, a danger to themselves, trying to harm others, if we really are unable to get them just into a cell where they can kind of calm down, we'll have to put them in this restraint chair and kind of essentially restrain them in the chair long enough that they'll kind of calm down or not be so combative. And then once they settle down a bit, we can get them out of that chair and get them, into a cell.
Fingerprint machine here?
Fingerprint machine, it's all electronic. It's not like the old days where you see the ink. It's all laser, basically, or infrared. It reads your palms, your fingers, and then everything is live transmitted to FBI, the state police, and then we'll get any records back as if that fingerprint matches. Again, we've got 4 matching cells down this side.
Are any of these cells all filled up at the same time?
Yeah, on a busy night or a busy weekend, we've actually filled all of these, and if we run out of room, we will end up making arrangements with the Sheriff's Department, up the Berkshire Sheriff's Department, and they'll help out by holding any overflow prisoners we have.
Just showing you guys the age of the building for sure, 1939, man.
Yeah, so you can see where the ceiling's been cut open a few different times, and there's been different, heating and ventilation systems installed. Like we have a hot water heater mounted to the wall that was never part of the building, but to be compliant with the state cell block requirements to pass cell inspections, we have to have warm running water, cold water, and other stuff. And these are just things that have been added to conform to it. There's no air conditioning in here per se. There is a window mounted type unit to try to keep the temperature down, but it's not a true climate cooling.
This is the room where you don't want to be in.
Never. I don't even like being in here. So the 3 patrol shift lieutenants, the day shift, the evening shift, and the overnight shift. The 3 lieutenants share an office space in here, and this is the room they're crammed into. We can take you around the corner. So this is kind of an entrance to our workout area. There used to be a steam room here, and some other facilities that are since broken and just closed off, turned into storage space. We do have a workout area. We've got a small gym with some equipment that's been donated over the years for the officers to work out in. And
this room you said was a shower room at one point?
This building wasn't designed just as a police station years ago. If you look outside it, you'll notice above the doorways, like they say health, welfare. The public health office was in here, the welfare office was in here. Years ago, you could come in here and get your shots. This was the public health department before the police department kind of took the whole building over. So it's changed a lot over the years. There's men's or women's shower facilities in here. And as you can see, there's 3 shower stalls, 2 work, 1 doesn't work at all. The one on the far left there is actually just inoperative. We're hoping to get these replaced. They're in dire need of some updating and replacement in here, but the officers try to make the best they can of this just to keep it so they have a place to get cleaned up. And
some just damage to the wall here.
yeah, and you're going to notice all through the building dehumidifiers. Like we've got this dehumidifier mounted just on the windowsill, and we drilled a hole through the building to get the drain outside. The humidity is really kind of tough in this building, and the circulation isn't great. So we run portable dehumidifiers, all these small ones, to try to keep the moisture down. Several years back, we had a pretty bad incident in the basement where a contractor had to come in and do mold remediation because the humidity was so bad. And the building just hasn't really been what you would hope for as far as ventilation. So, there's, we'll show you the garage while we're up here. So this is where our fleet mechanic is. This is also our quasi satellite port area. We don't have a fully secure area to bring a prisoner in, but we'll bring a cruiser. If somebody's combative, we can bring a cruiser right inside the building, close the door, and then we're going to walk them up the stairway into the booking area. But this area also shares a lot of heavy equipment and other things. It's just not ideal for what we do, like a modern facility would have. So our mechanics.
If an officer brings someone in and they need to be arrested, they park outside those garage doors and they walk them in handcuffed, and then they sort of walk through that door into the booking room.
Yeah, in a modern facility, you'd have an indoor sally port. You open a door, drive the cruiser in, close the doors, and then you can take that person out safely. You don't have to worry about any external factors. The people are inside and safe, and it's a very contained area. Here we've got all sorts of stuff going on, and we also use this as we may have an evidence vehicle towed in here, like from a major incident or a shooting or something like that, or an accident. That might be towed in here where we don't have the ability to drive in. In those cases, we have to unload that person outside. Usually 2 or 3 officers do it to try to keep safe, and then we'll bring them into the building and walk them through. But as you can see, we just don't have enough space in here. So we've got our motorcycles stored in here, our bicycles are in here, our mechanic has a lot of his tools and equipment, the snow plows for the facility, the snow blowers, the tires. It's just, we trip over everything. There's just not enough space anymore, unfortunately.
How often do the cruisers need new tires?
I mean, so our cars run basically around the clock. We run them, they're a pool car, so they run 3 shifts a day, 7 days a week. Really, the only time the car gets a break is when it's here with the mechanic getting an oil change, tires, brakes, service work. That's really the only downtime for the car. We typically will get about 3 years out of a car. The first 2 years, they're a frontline car, and they average anywhere from 40 to 60,000 miles a year. So we go through a lot of tires, a lot of brakes, and it's a lot of upkeep.
Is the contract always with Ford, or do you guys ever think about changing to Chevy or Dodge?
We've got some Dodges, we've had Chevys, we've got primarily Ford. We've got a great work relationship with our local Johnson Ford. Johnson Ford has been great with us, and we do a lot with them, and it's convenient because they're right down the road. A lot of the other dealers are out of town, so it's a little harder to get to. But we've got some Dodges, we've had some Chevys, and we're willing to try any of them.
Do you miss the old Crown Vics and how fast they go?
The Crown Victoria was the best car, and I'm not going to deny that. I do miss those, and they held up a lot better than the Explorers, for sure. So as you come down, this is the basement level of the building. As you can see, it was originally, when the building was built, this was a fallout shelter area as well. This is our roll call room. So when everybody comes in for their shift, the officers come in to start their shift. This is the room they're going to come into. This is where they get their daily briefing before they hit the road. The day sergeant, the evening sergeant, the overnight sergeant will get anything from the off-going shift, pass it on to the incoming shift. And, as you can see, there's some computer space down here. Our co-responders share this side of the building also, so they work down here because they don't have dedicated workspace necessarily that we can put them in an office or a private area. Again, so they're just kind of working within the confines of the building. We've got another AC unit that's supposed to be mounted on the ceiling here. The buildings department's working on that, but because it's summertime, they're busy with the schools. We understand that. They're trying to get the schools ready for the school semester start in September. So we're hoping that they'll get that soon. We're hoping that'll help alleviate some of the moisture issues. But as you can see, we've got different iterations of the building. Like this was not original to the building, but all the networking and everything that has to be run in here now with the computers, that didn't exist in 1939. So, to give you an idea, if you come over here, one of these storage safes, prior to computer days, everything was written in books and logged. So if you look in here, this is records from about 1940 onward up until the early 90s when everything became computerized. But these were the books that everyone wrote in: the daily blotter, the daily briefing, the records, the arrest logs, the violation notices. So
it smells amazing in here, guys. I got to tell you, it smells like a whole library.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Some of them are pretty cool to read through.
Yeah, I think we were reading through a couple earlier, and it said it was like $10 for a speeding violation or something.
Yeah, what was that? 1957.
1957.
They were fined $10 by the court for speeding.
And the crimes don't change too. Like I think one crime, and there was like drunkenness or something.
Yep, drunkenness.
People still getting drunk.
Yep, disturbing the peace, drunkenness. This originally was a shooting range in the building. There used to be like 4 shooting bays essentially that ran the length of the building, so you could do indoor training. The ventilation system failed over the years. There was some lead damage and stuff like that, so that the cost to rehab that and fix it was just enormous. The city couldn't absorb it, so they never fixed that or replaced it. And in turn, there was some lead remediation done over the years. This turned into a storage area, so you see this big fencing caged area. There's like 4 or 5 cages in here that we just tried to use the storage space that we could. This second cage number 2 here that you see with all the white boxes, that's old records that we're required to keep. These originally were housed in the fire department basement. They had water damage there as well, so we had to get that out of there last year or the year before. So we're housing them here again. We've got records off-site stored elsewhere. This cage here is below those bathrooms that were upstairs. You can see there's, unfortunately, the plumbing leaks, so this orange bucket catches the water, and every couple of days we just drain the bucket. And then the far end is some evidence storage and things like that. That's the backstop of the old shooting range. So the backstop is still there. All the lead and all the bullet fragments, all that stuff has been cleaned up. But, you know, this is basically evidence storage. There's some firearms stored in here. You can see like this garbage pails full
old firearms, yeah.
Old guns that are going to be turned over to a gun destruction company. They come and they basically grind them up and chop them up into pieces. And that's how we can get rid of a lot of those. We got dehumidifiers kind of running. Our custodian's really great about it. He'll come in and empty these out during the day while he's working. But we just continuously keep them running. This was another evidence safe that's now become a storage area. There's a lot of like DARE equipment, the RAD training equipment, some children's stuff in here, the bike helmet program. So unfortunately, because the humidity is so high, this dehumidifier runs basically around the clock. And we've got it draining into a garbage pail because on a really humid day, this will make 10 plus gallons of water in a day. So it just doesn't keep up. We have to keep emptying it. So if we drain it into the bucket, we can empty it once a day, and we don't have to have somebody coming in on all 3 shifts to try to keep it going or, you know, paying overtime. This was one of the original 911 dispatch locations of the building. They turned it into a locker room. So this did get new lockers about, I want to say 8 or 10 years ago now. This is like a supervisor's locker room. It's a smaller area, so they did this project. The plan, I think, at the time was to try to do all of the lockers in the building, the men's locker room, the women's locker room. But the city didn't have the money at the time to do the whole project, so they did this locker room, and the women's locker room did get done, but the men's locker room is more or less original to the building. It's kind of a mix and match of lockers that have gotten kind of reappropriated over the years, whether it's from the schools or, you know, a facility that's closing. We kind of have stolen those and put them in here. I could show you that side of the building. If you notice down here, we got the same thing. The ceiling just gets, it originally was patched up. They removed it because it was full of asbestos up there. So the city had a big asbestos abatement project done. They took that down, but never really finished it or closed it back off because it was a cost prohibitive issue. So this is the electrical room for the building. This is one of the original electrical rooms for the building. There's breaker boxes all over the building that kind of don't make sense. It's a little confusing the way it was built in the 30s, 40s, but you know, the original panel with a lot of the original phone circuits is still here. A lot of that stuff has since gone to like a fiber or internet-based service, but that's some of the original circuitry to the building there. And it's become a storage area as well. It's unfortunately, but the bicycles are here. A lot of first aid equipment and training equipment is in here. So unfortunately, the women's locker room is closed up. But this is the men's locker room, and you can see that there's a variety of different types of lockers. It's just a matter of what they could get their hands on over the years to try to put down here. So, and again, we try to keep the fans moving in here to keep the air moving. The city did put this kind of like Y-shaped exhaust system in, and they ran it out a window casing. The goal with that is to keep the air moving in here to try to mitigate some of the humidity issues that we had. But again, we run the dehumidifiers essentially around the clock. And if we don't, you could more or less ice skate on the floor. It gets so slippery down here with the humidity. It's just horrible. So, and there's kind of like another alcove behind you of lockers that just try to maximize the space. And as you can see, you kind of have to, if you arrest a female, to get her to the cells, you kind of have to walk this long, crazy gauntlet to get her up here with all kinds of hazards along the way. So, excuse me. So there's 2 identical cells up here for our female prisoners that come up. We had a third. That was repurposed years ago because there was some space behind it that we needed for evidence storage. So we took that third cell for storage. So typically we have 2 female cells, the 8 males downstairs, and then the juvenile holding area. And again, there's a matron area here. So if we have a female, we typically will have a matron hired that can monitor them on the cameras, watch them, keep track of any medical issues or anything, any needs that they have, and they coordinate with the desk sergeant who's working downstairs. This room here, this pink room is our juvenile holding area. This is where a juvenile gets held for up to 6 hours, or until they're either picked up by a parent, legal guardian, custodian, or transferred to like a DYS custody or juvenile.
Yeah, pretty bare in here. I don't know if I want to spend some time in here.
Yeah. Yep. And I don't know if the color choice was because it was on sale or it, but I've never been able to figure out the color. But that pink is a tough color. Again, we've got another restraint chair up here, same thing. So we don't have to try to go up and down a flight of stairs. If we need to, we can use that up here. And then we've got some administrative offices, as you can see, like filing cabinets everywhere, just because there's not enough storage space in the building. So we're required to keep a lot of records with the public records. We can't just get rid of stuff. So we have records everywhere. We've got behind you here, sorry, Brad, this used to be like another cell block area. This has now become a custodial closet. But this was, back in the day, this is what you would term that, quote, padded cell. But it's now just a paper goods storage, but you can see there's some padding on the walls, and there used to be pads on the floor and pads everywhere, and that was...
If you were crazy, they'd keep you in here.
They put people in there. They've since decided that's not a legal thing to do.
Not humane, yeah.
Yeah, I could not imagine. I would not want to put anyone in there.
Oh, man.
The building's been around a long time, so there's a lot of different changes that have happened over the years. We've got some administrative offices up here. Our Director of Administrative Services is in here. Again, all sorts of records outside here, outside of the chief's office. And you can see we got the old call boxes. Detective Captain Strout works in here. He's busy working because we've had a rash of violence in the city. We've got the old call boxes. So these are the boxes that were on North Street that you would, pick up and call the station on. And that was before we had radios. So
this was how many of these were in the street?
I don't know how many there were around the downtown and in the city, but they were spread out throughout the city. And this was in place of a radio. So you can see the old scribble that people made notes in there with pencil, and kind of neat stuff. But this was before radios existed in this business. So, and we were lucky enough to keep the two of them. We've got a report room area here. Officers can come up here and type. Got Officer O'Neill doing a report now. But again, our animal control officers in a cubicle. We've got a couple officers that can do reports in here. Our traffic officers, our training officers in here, and everybody is just kind of shoehorned into a small space. We've got the detective bureau is up here. And actually they're in the middle of talking to somebody, so we won't go in there. And then we've got some cubicles in the open area here, people just working at cubicles. This is our interview room if we're going to interview somebody, for a major case or want to talk to them about a crime.
I do like the vice grip.
Yeah, well, that's the handle broke off, and that's how it was fixed. So this is our interview room. If we're going to talk to somebody, we can bring them in here. And if you look and pay good attention to the room, originally was a bathroom. There's still some stub outs on the wall for the plumbings. It's just been kind of painted over. And this side, there's still a soap dish. So, over the years, I've had some people up here, and I talked to a plumber up here one time, and he was the one who pointed a lot of this out to me.
You were interviewing a plumber in an old bathroom? That's amazing.
He's like, I like the soap dish, and he pointed out some of the great features here. So,
man,
I'll let you go ahead of me.
Yep.
And then we've got just some smaller workspaces, and then we've got a small, like a break room area, but nothing you can really cook in. There's a toaster oven to make some toast and a coffee maker, and water cooler. But we make the best that we can. But like this window's falling out of the building. We're waiting for this to get fixed, but the latch fell off it. I really don't want to push on it because it'll fall out. But it's just kind of hanging out of the building. If you can. It's just.
Wow.
Usually
it
stays like that, so it gets a little fresh air vented up here, but somebody closed it because it's going to rain. But you can see it's broken and rotted off, so do the best we can to get it closed. So this is like the north stairwell exit out of the building. We don't have really anywhere to put any storage, so the paper storage and the delivery of paper for the year from the WB Mason kind of gets stacked up in the stairwell.
What's the Domino's and the
You know, those have been here a long time.
Vivaldi pizzas? All that? Wow.
I'm not really sure. We've had some, they've been here a long, long time. We got public restrooms here for you.
Is this where the controversy was, where they wanted to keep these open for anyone who needed the restroom, like in the middle of the night or something? Or
Yeah, and you know, they were always available and open during the middle of the night. So there was some different views on that. People didn't want to have to ask an officer at the window for a key to unlock it. We usually kept it locked for the public safety, so that people didn't come in and go into a bathroom and find somebody that they didn't expect to be in there. You know, we've had people sleeping in there over the years. We've had people who come in and use drugs in the bathrooms. So to keep them locked and have somebody come to the desk and say, hey, can I have the key for the bathroom? We just ensure that way there when they go in, that they're the only person in the bathroom. It's safer for them. So typically that's what we do, is it stays unlocked days and evenings on the overnight shift. We try to lock that around 11 o'clock-ish, and it's just safer for the public. This is the Records Bureau. So this is firearms and records license for firearms licensing. This is where all the, you know, when you apply for a license to carry, this is where you come in and meet with our firearms clerk. She does all the paperwork processing, does your entry to the state, and then, you know, in a short amount of time, you get it turned around. This is our guard dog.
all right, buddy.
She's like,
The newest police officer.
Yes. Yeah, that would be, and call me a police officer.
getting ready to rain.
Yeah. So all these cruisers out here are they
So these
like
are
like do you just get a key and take one if you need one, or are they like assigned? Or
yes.
they...
Nope, they're not assigned. They're assigned to an area of the city traditionally, like the frontline cars are, the primary cars. They'll be assigned to a sector of the city, but the keys are, you know, officers have the keys, they're available. You come in, grab your gear. After you do roll call, you'll come out, put your stuff in your car, and then your 8-hour shift or however long you're here will be in that car. That's essentially your office for 8 hours. So, you know, and cars come and go, and as people come in, so like if these cars are here and you can't get in, you might have to unload a prisoner here. You walk them through the door and then bring them into the station. So, and unfortunately, as people have complained about parking it as a premium, we don't have enough parking for everything around the station. Years ago, there might have been enough parking, but with the amount of cars that we have in our fleet, with the other stuff going on in the city, the town hall refurbishment going, the old town hall getting refurbished, there's just not enough space. So unfortunately, officers will do the best they can to find a place to park, but we don't always have that.
All right, Captain Matt Kirchner, we appreciate the Pittsfield Police Department building walkthrough, August of 2026.
Thanks for coming, Brian. We appreciate it.